Hello, and welcome to the Champ and Contender Podcast. My name is Joseph J. Jones.
And my name's Fabian Collymore.
And we are joined by someone unexpected today because someone dropped out of the interview who will remain nameless.
That's easy for you to say.
We've got my dad who has stepped in to come and have an interview today.
Reluctantly, may I say.
But he's here. How you doing, first of all?
All right. I was all right 5 minutes ago when I was going up the Legion, but then I got hoodwinked into this, but hey-ho. I've been offered a little tipple, which I've got here, which is now empty. So can you fill that up again, please?
Yeah, do you want another one? Yeah, hold it out then.
It's as good as the head there.
Don't skimp.
All right, there you go.
Thank you very much.
You got a cider there as well, remember? So, we've asked you to come in. You were an ABA boxer.
Many years ago, yes.
Well, how old was you when you first started boxing?
I was 14 years old. I wanted to start when I was 10, but my dad, I lived in Barking, my dad couldn't take me down to West Ham Boxing Club because that and Repton was the best clubs around. So when I was 10, I wanted to start, but he just couldn't get there. And it was too far for me to get free buses when you're 10 years old. So I had to wait until I was 14 and join Barking Boxing Club, which was 100 yards walk away from me. So that's when I started, 14, which, may I say, is a bit too late, but there you go.
Bit too late? What, so you think that's too late for...
Yeah, for amateur boxing, if you want to be any good, you've got to start around about 8 or 10.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, so how did you first of all get into boxing? Why did you want
I used to love all the stories my granddad used to tell me about boxing. Not that he was a boxer, but he used to tell me stories. I just loved listening to all the Henry Cooper fights with my dad on the radio, and I just thought it was something I wanted to do.
There you go.
So 8 to 10 years old is the age that you feel that you need to start?
Yeah, but it's now gone up to 10 years.
That's what I was going to ask.
Yeah, it's not 8 no. Well, some people do start at 8, but they can't have competitive fights.
Okay.
And when you're 10, you don't have competitive fights, you just have fights that you don't have a winner.
Okay.
So it's not until you reach about 12 that then you can go competitive.
Okay.
But I missed that 4 years, so that's why I'm a down and out.
So do you feel that those 4 years would have made a difference for you?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Especially if I'd have gone to a club like West Ham.
Okay.
Because they had all the best. When I started at 14, I had no one to spar with or anything really.
So in London, what's the best two clubs to train at? Did you say Barking and Repton?
No, West Ham, obviously. You had loads of people from West Ham, and obviously Repton Boxing Club were the two main ones.
Yeah.
And then you had all the Ardley Green and all this, but Barking, Dagenham, but Hornchurch Boxing Club.
Yeah.
All good, but not as good as the elite.
Okay.
So you start boxing. Who was your first trainer?
My first trainer was a bloke called Harry. I've forgotten his surname now. It's called Old Age. Yeah, and first of all, which we were talking about earlier, you always start with the hand that you're right with. You always want to jab with that one, but they turn you around to do your weakest one for a jab. So your knockout punch is your best punch, the one you're right with. So I started off as a southpaw, then they turned me round to orthodox.
Okay, because at the moment, I'm naturally a southpaw, but like you were saying, if I went into a gym, they would turn me around because I'm right-handed. Yeah. Okay.
Because your weakest hand, the one that you want to knock out, is your weakest arm. Yeah. So some people, they lead with their best hand, but most
isn't
of
it
them,
an advantage now, though, to have a southpaw? If you come across a southpaw, it's like...
Well, yeah, it's handy if you can switch, a bit like Tyson Fury, he switches all the time, but yeah.
But what so say I walk into a gym and I'm naturally a southpaw, would you not be rubbing your hands together going like...
Oh, yeah,
almost...
it's harder to fight a southpaw if you're orthodox, because you're jabbing against his jab. You're always in the way.
Yeah, because I imagine it's like a striker or something who's left-footed. Like, and they go, oh, right, he's left-footed, but we'll train him on his right or whatever.
No one likes to fight against a southpaw, especially southpaws. They don't like to fight against another southpaw because it seems weird to them.
Yeah.
Excuse me while I have another one.
Right, so you're training from a young age of 14, which you don't think's young enough, and then when was your first ABA fight?
My first ABA fight, I can't remember where it was, but I turned up. I had no sports gear to wear. They promised me some boxing shorts, a proper vest, everything, and I turned up and they didn't have any. So I had a pair of black football shorts, PE shorts, and the bloke who fought just before me had a red and white vest, which was our colours, and there was all blood all over it, sweat pouring out, and he lent me that. And I had not boxing boots, I had a pair of plimsolls.
Wow.
And my mate, Dave Wald, and his friend Glenn DeLue, or my friend Glenn DeLue, came to see me, and I think Dave Bolton as well. Anyway, they come to see me. They couldn't stop laughing at me in a sweaty, bloody vest already, had my first fight. And I thought it was going to be like you do in the ring, just like sparring, jab and move. But this P. Keeley, his name was. It's funny how you remember these names all, son. He come out like a ball in a china shop. He was knocking me all round the ring. So then we just stood toe to toe and just weren't boxing at all. It was like scrap in the school yard or something.
Slugging it out.
Slugging it out, and I won. Okay. So I won my first 3 fights like that.
Why do you think you won that? What do you think your edge was on top of that?
Frightened that he come out like that, and then I just wanted to get my own back, and because my mates were there.
Yeah.
And yeah, I know I did do him. I knew I won.
So adrenaline sort of.
Oh yeah.
So what's your style of fighting? What would you say your style of fighting is?
I was aggressive first of all, just all out fighting. That's why I knocked 3 people out of my first 9 fights.
Okay.
And then I turned into a bit of a stylist.
Yeah. Believe
it or not, they used to call me Slick Nick.
Slick Nick Gibbons.
And my name's Nigel. No, it's not.
Yeah, true.
So how many fights have you had in your career, ABA?
It varies. It's around about 60.
Wow.
And I had a few at the King's Hotel, which is another story for later on. But yeah, I had 60, lost 59, drew 1. Really good career.
I've got your record. I've got your record down there.
No, well, don't say it.
Oh, it's a good record.
No, it's not.
You got there's a photo with you with Bobby Moore receiving an award. But that award was a losing award, wasn't it?
Yes, he was commiserating with me.
He don't look very happy in it.
He don't look very happy to be there either, does he?
He looks like he's fallen asleep. What does it say there, Fab? Can you read it? I can't see it from here. There's a light bulb in the way. It's something like 60 fights.
48 fights.
48 won.
48 wins, out of 60.
Yeah, which isn't very good. I don't know why I'm here.
8 knockouts.
Is that all?
0 draws, 12 losses.
No, you can't have a draw in amateur.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Right, so that's why it's 0 draws. But 48's pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was...
12 knockouts and all that. Who was, to your mind, the hardest that you ever fought, the hardest competitor?
The one that I thought I was going to beat easy, because the fight before, a bloke called Michael Michaels from West Ham, he was like a Muhammad Ali. He had all the big white boxing boots with tassels. He was completely shaven bald, and he was dancing around on the stage like Muhammad Ali, and I thought he was the NABC champion, ABA champion. And I said to my promoter at the time, "You sure I'm ready for this?" Because this was my first senior fight at 17.
Yeah.
He said, "Of course you are. Yeah, do it." And he said that all the time. But as soon as he started dancing about in front of everyone, I thought, everyone expects me to lose.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to go out there. and all my nerves went.
Right.
So when we got in the ring, he done a funny thing. He was all dancing about, and then whenever he tried to throw a jab, he went like that first of all.
Yeah.
So when he went, it was split second, he went like that and then jab. So as soon as I see him go like that,
You knew.
I stuck out my jab before him.
Okay.
So every time he threw a jab or a right hand, I threw mine.
So you was reading the opponent.
I was reading the opponent.
Yeah.
He had a lot of twitch. Sorry, Michael, if you're watching this. But you had a twitch. And I won by majority decision. And because I'd beaten the champion, as you'll find out a little bit later on, I suppose, I've never been an actual champion.
Okay.
Always lost in the finals and all that. I had a bit of weird things going on. I didn't think I was good enough.
Okay.
But because I beat the champion, who won everything, I was full of confidence. No one could beat. And then when I got in the ring the next time, I was dancing in the ring, doing all the flash stuff. And I went out and I fought this fella who was about a foot taller than me. And it was the hardest fight I'd ever had. But they said I never gave in throughout the whole 3 rounds.
Yeah.
And he beat me on a majority.
Okay.
And then my confidence went again. But that was the hardest fight I'd ever had. And I never got knocked down, never got nothing like that. But it worked out that he was about, don't sound a lot, but it worked out that he was about 5 or 6 pounds heavier than me. He was in a different weight class, and Harry, my trainer, the promoter, wasn't there. He apologised afterwards because I shouldn't have gone in the ring with him.
So you was fighting at a disadvantage.
Yeah, I was
straight
fighting
away.
at a disadvantage, but I was so confident, and it was such a good fight. I wish my dad had filmed it, but he never. And but yeah, that was my hardest fight.
Right. Did you ever see him outside of that again?
No.
Never.
No.
So you said you won. Sorry, you didn't win, but you got to 5 ABA finals.
5 ABA finals.
So when you say there was something in your head,
I never thought I could be a champion.
right?
And when you don't think you can win, you don't.
Yeah.
For some reason, when I fought them, when it wasn't a championship or a belt, not a belt, we didn't have belts, but Essex champion, ABA champ, whatever, a London ABA champion, not the proper ABA champions. I'm on about London ABA champion. Just saying to me, had said, "Oh, you're never gonna do it." But then you fight them in a normal show. I always used to beat them.
Oh, really?
So I had a weird thing going on.
Because I always say to people, like, just to save argument's sake, I say Dad was an ABA champion because of the stories of when. No, I know, but because you beat the champions and stuff like that, and you got to 5 finals, that's just me being prideful, I suppose, as your son and whatever. Because you're a champion to me.
Yeah, because the Gibbons family are liars.
Like, is that the same for you though, Fabe? I suppose because I mean, you've only just met Fabian, but Fabian was a Great Britain runner.
Oh, right.
So he did 100 metres, 200 metres. But do you feel that you can relate to that if you think, no, I'm not going to win it, you ain't going to win it?
Yeah, definitely, 100%. Like, you have to go in with the mindset to win.
Yeah.
And if you don't, you pretty much given your opponents the edge already.
Yeah.
Without them even knowing.
But is there a thing of like literally knowing you can't win because this person has been, made in a lab? Do you know what I mean? And then to what your best basically isn't as good as what theirs is. Does that not ever come into it?
Yeah, with me all the time.
I think you can compete against someone knowing that they're the guy, they're the one that should win this race, but at times anything can happen. It could be just the luck of the draw. One day everything can get into place perfectly for you, and everything can go against them that day.
Yeah.
For me, in a 100-meter race, they could get disqualified.
Yeah.
And that could be like, I'm ready now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it could literally be like that. Or it could be, they just had an off day. They had a bad start. They was overconfident, like you said yourself, that you was in certain competitions, certain fights. And then everything just goes out the window.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's loads of different scenarios. So I kind of look at it as, all right, today anything can happen.
Yeah.
And if it does, it's my day. I won.
Well, because I mean, you raised me and Will on boxing really because we were fat kids basically, and we needed to lose weight. You did it for Michael as well, our cousin, didn't you?
Yeah.
You done a bit of training for him, but
And he was really fat and ugly.
but like I felt like you trained us pretty well. Like we could hold our own outside of the
Yeah, I
ring.
trained you so you can have self-defence in a certain situation, but also wanted one of you to take up boxing.
Yeah.
And both of you, William and you, were good enough to take up boxing, but you just...
Well, we did it for a little bit. Like,
yeah.
I went to All Church in Elm Park, and then we did that. I always remember, I was telling Fabian earlier, do you remember when you were there, you were watching, and weirdly, Tony Caldori, my uncle, was there with little Joe. Do you remember?
Right, yeah.
But I got in a ring with this guy, and he was 2 years older than me,
That's
more
right.
experienced,
And he'd had about 20-odd fights, 40 fights or something.
and he literally just pummeled the absolute S out of me.
And I wanted to get in there and blazing hit the kid.
Well, but no, because I remember.
I went up to the trainer and
Yeah.
said, this shouldn't be allowed.
No, yeah. Because well, go on, sorry.
He should go in someone his own size and his own standard. And that guy's had 40 fights, and you could see it. He was dancing around him, just using him as a punch bag.
Well, does this happen a lot in training?
I don't know now, but it used to happen a bit in my day.
Yeah.
Like stepping stone.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess it's like because I felt like I was just a bit of raw meat for him to eat.
Yeah,
For like,
which you shouldn't be allowed, because that puts you off boxing for a start, doesn't it?
yeah. But then it was like, in terms of training, I suppose once it started to click together, I don't know if you told me this, but it was like, I call it like the Pinocchio effect, where like a puppet effect, where your left jab is connected to your left foot. It always goes with it moving forward.
Right.
And like your right cross, that this is orthodox talking, that your right cross will always connect back to the chin, come back there. And it's all like string related. And I swear you taught me that stuff.
A lot of them now bring their hand, like Anthony Joshua did last week. He weren't holding his hands up. He was bringing them down. And then, what's his name, Dubois, was just pummeling him over the top.
Yeah, over the top.
And by the way, can I just say this? Me and my son had a £10 bet on Dubois to beat Anthony Joshua in the 5th round, and we won £510. But apart from that, so you always come back. I was always taught, boxing gloves are big. So if you bring it back, you've got your whole of your half face covered. All these people who fight like this, not everyone's a Muhammad Ali, are they?
Yeah.
Are quick enough to move out of the way. So always get your stance, bring it back.
Do you think those guys that are are they overconfident, or are they just not trained properly?
Oh, I wish I was overconfident.
You more so than being trained properly.
Well, no, training properly is the biggest thing, obviously, but the confidence thing, which is I never had properly. It worked, as I just said, I don't want to repeat myself, but in championships, for some reason, I never thought I could win. But when I fought the champions, I always thought, well, I've got nothing to lose.
Yeah.
And so I used to beat them. So I'm a complex character.
But do you think having the overconfidence makes your hands drop?
Yeah.
So,
makes you do silly things.
So do you want the overconfidence, or you don't?
Well, that's right.
Yeah.
Oh, he's good, isn't he?
There's a balance.
Yeah.
I guess.
Yeah, there's a balance.
Yeah.
Well, what would you? So you saying the confidence over? You said the training was more important, but
you got to train. You got to train hard. You got to train all the time, basically, and that's what let me down.
Booze. When
I got into my teens, that's a story for later, isn't it?
Oh, cool. Go for it.
Well, I only lost one fight in my first 11, the first season. Then the second season, I won't tell you about that. And then third, and then also I reached 17. And then my two best friends, Polkey and Potter, used to belong to Barking Rugby Club. And they were Colts, which is like the under 17, under 18s, whatever. And they were always short for players.
Yeah.
And I used to play in my school days rugby. Not very good, but I used to play.
Yeah.
And they always used to turn up, Nick, come and help us out. We're one player short. I said, no, I can't. I've got a fight in a couple of months. So I don't want to get injured. No, come on, play. So I used to go with them to play rugby.
Yeah.
And then what you got after the rugby?
Yeah.
You've got the boozing
Yeah.
and the games and the sing-songs. And I like that, but I still kept with me boxing. Then they'd come round again the week after. I'd go, one night on the piss ain't going to do no harm. Then they'd come round again and again. And it used to be about 3 months before a fight, I wouldn't have no drink. Then it was 2 months. Then it was a month. Then it was about 2 weeks. So, Porky Potter, you ruined my boxing career.
God, he's glitched it.
Have I?
Yeah, that's all right. Well, the reason I called this pub the Champ and Contender was because of what you always used to say. And it's funny you say that story. Like, you know, they drew me away from it. And you take the old Marlon Brando quote, I could have been somebody, could have been a contender. And, well, it's quite a good first episode, this really, because if this is why this pub's here and like the reasoning for it. Like, because you weren't meant to be our first interview today, but maybe because of the ether and the heavens opened up and went, get him in first, because this is why it's called this. But it was always like, you know, the guys that have made it and the guys that are trying to make it, you know, like, do you feel that you could have been a champ?
In all honesty, probably not, but I could have been a ranked contender, like what you just said, a contender. But when I say a champ, I might have got to, this is being big-headed, but I might have got to say Commonwealth champ, British champ, say it like that. I never would have been a world champ.
Yeah.
I know, I'm European or whatever.
But again, you saying that though, like that's your...
I didn't do it for
your
long
mentality
enough.
Coming in.
I packed in boxing when I was 20, so I didn't do that long a spell to do it. But yeah, that's my mentality, I suppose.
Yeah, but again, that's like, it's such a thing, isn't it? A mentality. Like, if you just had that little bit, because you are one of the most confident people I know. Like, especially when you've had a tipple. Like, you're an you're an entertainer.
Sorry about that.
That's all right. You're an entertainer as well as, you know, the boxing side of things. But I mean, like, I remember you heard me speaking to Bob earlier.
Yeah.
Who's my best mate, who we'll get on the podcast at one point.
Definitely.
Like, you immediately liked him straight away, right?
Straight away. It's a class act.
Shout out to Hendy as well, because Bob and Hendy, they used to come round and my dad would train them.
Okay.
And they just couldn't believe, like of his age, like what he was doing on a bag, training wise. Then, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, like, what did you enjoy that side of things, training up people?
Oh yeah, I enjoyed the training more. That's the one thing I missed when I packed in boxing. My club was only open Monday, Wednesday and Friday, only 3 days a week. I wanted to go 7 days a week. So I had my dad put up a bag in the kitchen, a wall bag which hangs against the wall, and take all the furniture out, and I used to skip and do the box. But it's not the same as in a proper gym. But most clubs, they're open apart from a Sunday.
Okay.
So, but I missed out on that as well.
Do you think that the mentality of boxers nowadays is not the same as what it was back then?
No, not really, because we've got such high-class boxers in Britain at the moment.
Yeah.
So, no, I wouldn't say that. No, not
What
at
about
all.
the work ethic? Do you think it's still there?
I think it's better than what I had it.
Really?
When we had it, yeah.
Okay.
I actually do. I could say, no, they don't train, but they do. They eat properly.
Yeah.
They don't drink like I used to do. And talking about drink, can I have another Jack Daniels, please? And, yeah, they train properly, they eat properly, and, yeah, they're looked after far better.
So when do you think that really changed? Was there an error? Like, say, a boxer like Ricky Hatton, for instance, he balloons between fights.
Oh, yeah. Well,
Do you think there was a point like that era
Oh, I bet he wishes he never done that.
Yeah.
Because it's no good for you.
No.
It's no good for your art, is it? I mean, Tyson Fury is another one.
Yeah.
He balloons right up nearly 30 stone, was he, or something?
Yeah.
It can't be good for you. I mean, the best ones are the ones who, obviously you've got to have your relaxing side, but keep training a little bit. Don't just lose it. Because if you have 3 months off, 5 months off, you always find you're just that little bit slower when you go back to the ring.
Yeah.
So that's what I found anyway.
Well, going back to like what you were talking about mentality then, someone like Tyson Fury, who probably took the biggest binge ever. Yeah. Like, how many months was that? That was like 9 months to a year, wasn't it, that he was out? So it was like that length of time, like doing that, like all the cocaine, the booze, and then he comes back. Like, even when you look at his body, he doesn't look like the heavyweight. He's not anymore, but he didn't look like the heavyweight champion then when he was. So his mentality must be something that's skyrocket to take over the physical side of things. Because if you're pummeling cocaine...
No, you're out of it.
How did he do it then?
Who knows? He decided he wanted to commit suicide, didn't he, at one stage? And then something happened, clicked in his brain. He's got all his kids, a lovely wife and whatever, and he thought, just get back in the gym. And he got a new trainer. And he sorted himself out, lost about 3, 4, 5 stone. And then he realised, not that I know, I'm just surmising, that he could still do the boxing in the gym. And then he had a warm-up fight, won that easy, knocked another geezer out. Then all of a sudden he's earning £70 million or something for fighting in the World Championship. So, he's marvellous.
Do you think he's just naturally gifted at this?
Oh, he must be.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it does help to be 6'9" as well.
I always think he's like...
Or 6'10", whatever he is.
I can't see anyone similar to Tyson Fury, and this will divide opinion here.
Yeah.
You know what I'm going to say, innit?
Yeah,
I can't see anyone more similar to Muhammad Ali than Tyson Fury.
Are you mad?
I knew he was going to say that. But in terms of, like, this is, like, if you listen to this now, this is after he's lost to Usyk, right? So it's hard for me to explain, but for someone that big to move that quick and that fluid, and the head movements and stuff, he looks like he shouldn't be able to do it.
No, I agree with you there.
But how can someone like... So has he learnt that?
Obviously he's got natural rhythm. And one day soon you're going to find him on Strictly Come Dancing.
Yeah, but the thing
if he's got the rhythm of that,
he ain't got a bad voice, is he?
No, I know.
It's like you always
go on The Voice or Strictly Dancing.
But you get like fighters like Joe Frazier, right? Yeah. He was a singer. Like he recorded albums and released albums. Yeah, and Muhammad Ali was the best poet of all time.
Yeah.
And then you had Jake LaMotta, who was a comedian, and like so. Going, because you know, this first day you've met my dad, right? Yeah. He's very much an entertainer.
100%.
So tell us about...
Here we go.
Tell us a little bit, moving on from the boxing a bit, like, how did you go from being a boxer to then becoming an 1830s rep?
Well, it's a funny story. Yeah. I went on holiday with my mate Flappers. We went to an 1830 holiday in Greece called Cassiope, and while we were there we met the most wonderful people, and it was just, one was what's his name, Frank Spencer. He used to do Frank Spencer impersonations. He was brilliant. Another
Betty.
one, my Betty, and the other one, we had so many anyway, and we all kept in contact, and we used to do Stormer and Stormerette's cabarets, and I used to take on Elvis Presley, and they used to back me up and all that anyway. So and then one of my friends who was doing that, he became an 1830 rep the next year. So me and my wife, to-be then, we decided to go out there for 3 months, take 3-month holiday, because I just finished my 5-year apprenticeship. So we went out there and we used to entertain everyone. And I got offered the job then. So after I got offered the job, went for an interview the next year, and then I done it for another 3 years. So that's basically it. 1830s, and it was the best time of my life.
Okay. You really enjoyed that then?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
So, I mean, you got a good voice as well. So
Got a wonderful voice.
He's got a wonderful voice.
No, I haven't. He's a budding singer himself.
I'm a singer-songwriter. That's how I've earned a living through my whole life. But I do think there's something to be said about, you know, the entertainers, the crossover of it. It's like the limelight of the boxing. You know, I mean, it can't all just be, I just want to kill someone in the ring. There's an aspect of,
I've never hit anyone outside the ring. I've never raised my fist to anyone, and it was just in the ring. You don't want to kill them. You just want to beat their heads in.
Yeah.
No, but they don't. You see, after every fight, 99.9% of fights, they just cuddle in the ring.
Yeah.
And it's just the build-up. And most of it, the build-up, is to sell tickets, especially in pro.
That peeves me off, like all the whole.
You don't see it in amateur boxing. You don't see that build-up where everyone hates each other. They don't. They talk to one another. They shake hands and all that. It's only to sell tickets in the professional game. Bit like wrestling. They have to try and get people back. But yeah, it's all fake.
So you got any good stories from your 1830s days?
No, because Mum's listening. No, she used to come out with me, so stop all that.
Okay.
Smart man.
Yeah.
That's for another time.
Right, when the cameras are off.
Yeah.
All right, we've got a little bit of a game, haven't we?
Yeah.
Oh, God.
We'd like to. Well, we wrote I won't say the weight because it might be clued up to who we was going to have on. So here we go. Let me have a look. We got a little game. It's called Shot Stopper, right? So what this game is, we will list your knowledge of the heavyweights is, you know, quite profound. I've found over the years when I need to know something about, especially in the golden era of the heavyweights and, you know, things like that. I come to you and you say, oh, ... this many fights, this many losses. So if I'm going to give you a name, right, let's just say, I don't know. Right, let's just say these two behind me, so they're not the heavyweight category. We're going to say Sugar Ray Leonard or Roberto Duran.
Sugar Ray Leonard.
So you pick Sugar Ray Leonard. And then I'll say
all day long.
All day long. So I'll pick another name from the welterweight category. But if there's a point where you can't choose between them, it's a shot.
Well, I can't choose between them now. Cheers.
But I won't give you a shot. I know you've got a day of it with Potter. It's picking up the accent.
Hi, Potter.
So, do you get the game?
Yeah.
It's called Shot Stopper.
Yeah.
Right. Me and Fabe are going to read these out to you. So,
best shot stopper of all time was Gordon Banks. I know that's not the game.
Right. Bit weird. We're going to go backwards, upwards, right? Here we go. So, Jersey Joe Walcott or Riddick Bowe?
Well, Jersey Joe Walcott was only about 13 and a half, 14 stone. Riddick Bowe was 18, 19 stone. So you couldn't even put them in together. There'd be a different weight category. But, I love Jersey Joe. I've got to say Riddick Bowe.
All right. Riddick Bowe or Joe Frazier?
Joe Frazier.
Joe Frazier or Jack Dempsey?
Oh, again, there'd be different weights. Jack Dempsey wouldn't even be a heavyweight today. He'd be a cruiserweight.
3, 2,
So, Frazier.
Okay. Joe Frazier or Sonny Liston?
Sonny Liston all day.
All right. This is what I was hoping you'd say. Sonny Liston or Mike Tyson?
Ooh, Mike Tyson.
Mike Tyson or Floyd Patterson?
Oh, Mike Tyson, easy. Floyd Patterson was a jumped up heavyweight as well.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Yeah, because it felt like he sort of...
You think about one of the greatest boxers of all time, Rocky Marciano, he wouldn't even be heavyweight today. Yeah. He was 13.5 stone.
Yeah.
So you put him in against an Ali who was 16 stone, or what they are now, Tyson Fury, who's 18, 19 stone, wouldn't have a chance.
No.
Even though he had dynamite in both fists.
Right.
Sorry, I went off the subject.
No, that's fine. Go for it. Mike Tyson or Jack Johnson?
Mike Tyson.
Mike Tyson or Daniel Dubois?
Mike Tyson.
Really? Wow, that's interesting. I suppose it's like, it's not early doors for Dubois, but it's early doors in terms of the public eye of Dubois.
Yeah.
For what he's done to AJ recently.
Oh, yeah.
So you're going Mike... I mean, I get it. I know why. But Mike Tyson...
Mike Tyson was as ferocious as Jack Dempsey and Rocky Marciano, but he also had the speed of Muhammad Ali. And his cluster of punches all together, up, down, over. He was unbeatable in his day. I still say Muhammad Ali would have beaten him, but Mike Tyson would have beaten everyone.
Hold up. All right, so Mike Tyson or Anthony Joshua?
Mike Tyson all day. Anthony Joshua's been proven to have a glass jaw. I'm sorry if you're a fan of Anthony Joshua, so was I.
Never comes on, eh?
Mike Tyson or Evander Holyfield?
Well, Evander Holyfield has beaten him twice anyway, so in Tyson's prime, not when he fought Evander Holyfield, I would have said Mike Tyson.
Okay, so who are you picking?
Evander Holyfield.
Oh, even after. All right, so Evander. Oh, I wish you'd have picked Mike Tyson.
All right, Mike Tyson.
No, you can't. You've gone for Holyfield, and you'll know why after. So Holyfield or Muhammad Ali?
Muhammad Ali.
Just out of interest, then, who would you gone with for Mike Tyson and Muhammad Ali?
Muhammad Ali, without even Mike Tyson says that.
See, this is where we're going to see absolute bias here because it's his hero.
No, because can I say one thing?
Yeah.
He got stripped of his title, and he had 3 years, 9 months not fighting. And in his last fight, he fought Big Cat Cleveland Williams, who was 6'6". He was 6'6" and a supreme boxer. And if you ever watch Cassius Clay then fighting him, he was unbelievable. He was doing the alley shuffle fighting. Anyway, if he'd have carried on for that 3.5 years, people like Joe Frazier would have got their chance at the title too early, and he would have annihilated him because he wouldn't do none of that rope-a-dope stuff. He would have just danced round him all day long, jabbing his head off. So his best 3.5 years he had out of it, and he come back a rope-a-dope man, a totally different boxer. So if Muhammad Ali hadn't been stripped of his title, he probably would have carried on unbeaten throughout his whole career and then retired.
Before we do the next one, let's have a drink for Muhammad Ali.
He's gasping anyway.
God bless you, Muhammad Ali.
So, go on, you do this one.
All right, Muhammad Ali or Usyk?
Well, you know what I'm going to say from what I was. Muhammad Ali would beat everyone in the heavyweights. The only one who'd get close to him was the poor bloke. Hang on. There's the poor bloke who followed him was Larry Holmes.
Right.
He was so underrated, but he had the best jab like Ali. Anyway, poor old Larry Holmes.
Well, now it's how weird's that? Muhammad Ali, Larry Holmes.
Yeah.
So Muhammad Ali or Larry Holmes?
Muhammad Ali.
Right. Okay.
In his prime, not what he used to be like.
Right. Okay.
Muhammad Ali or George Foreman?
Well, Muhammad Ali. Muhammad Ali even beat George Foreman when he was old, out of shape. And he didn't play in that rope-a-dope. He was just knackered. And then he thought, oh, this is a good idea. Yeah. When he started panting and, is that all you got, George? And all that. So, yeah, Muhammad Ali.
Did you like that trash talk?
Yeah, only when Ali does it.
Okay.
But he done it a bit too much against Joe Frazier.
Okay.
Yeah, that he pulled... that got involved with the kids.
Yeah, he done it well for Sonny Liston because he got inside Sonny Liston's brain. And Sonny Liston thought he was mental. And he didn't like mental cases coming at him, and he got all frightened. So, and he retired not with a shoulder injury. That's been proven. He didn't have nothing wrong with him. He just didn't want to get beat up anymore.
All right, so I think we're pretty sold here now. What you're going to say?
Muhammad Ali all the time.
All right, okay, Muhammad Ali or
Let's
Lennox
drop him
Lewis.
out. Let's drop Muhammad Ali out.
I
Yeah,
know, I feel
why
like
don't you say
Okay.
who's the second best?
Right, hold on a minute. Let's just we'll just fire through Muhammad Ali verses here until you say, "Oh, hold on a minute." So Muhammad Ali or George Foreman?
Already asked me that.
Yeah.
Muhammad Ali.
All right, okay. So sorry, yeah, Lennox Lewis or Muhammad Ali?
Oh, Muhammad Ali.
Rocky Marciano or Muhammad Ali?
Oh, Muhammad Ali, because he was a lot bigger, a lot faster. But when he fought Rocky Marciano for the computer fight, they had to get in the ring together. Ali was overweight, didn't train, and Rocky Marciano got himself down to his fighting weight, and they were only supposed to spar. But Ali said it's the hardest he's ever been hit by his ribs were totally bruised both sides. So a prime Rocky Marciano and a prime Ali. I'm still saying Ali would win, but Rocky Marciano would have given him. He probably would have knocked him down a couple of times.
Wasn't it 13-1 in that computer fight or something? Like he won 13 times.
He only won once, Rocky Marciano. The rest were Muhammad Ali. But they showed the one that Rocky Marciano won.
Yeah. Okay.
How about Ali versus Fury?
Ali, Tyson Fury.
Ali all the way. Even Tyson Fury says he's the greatest, but he knows Ali's the best. Everyone
Do you think
knows.
that's his confidence where he has to say that?
It's all hype in his brain to scare everyone else.
Okay.
Here's to Muhammad Ali. Cassius Clay, you can't beat him.
All right. What about the Klitschko brothers? Muhammad Ali.
Well, if both of them are in the ring with him, then I'll say the Klitschko
just because I
brothers.
know what he's going to say, I've just bounced it over.
Yeah.
So Muhammad Ali all the way for you.
Yeah.
All right, just out of curiosity then.
Muhammad Ali.
No. Just out of curiosity, Klitschko versus Klitschko.
Vitali. The older brother.
Okay.
Yeah, I think so as well, actually. Go on, Fabe. You pick one out.
What about Holyfield versus Usyk?
Oh, now there you've got it.
Because they both were cruiserweights, weren't they?
Yeah, but
That's mad, isn't it?
Holyfield was a bigger cruiserweight, a bigger heavyweight,
Yeah.
and he beat Tyson twice. I'd have to say Holyfield isn't underrated, but because he got beat up in his last 5 fights, he went on far too long. I'd say Holyfield all the way.
Yeah.
And don't forget, Dubois,
Yeah.
I believe, knocked out Usyk, because
Yeah.
that low blow wasn't a low
Well,
blow.
no blow at all.
You have your belt
Yeah.
above your navel, about
Yeah.
3 inches above your navel. He hit the belt.
Yeah.
So that's nowhere near
Yeah.
his
True.
crown jewels.
Yeah.
And he went down. He should have been world champion before.
Yeah, definitely. Right, I've got one for you. So we're going to go with Dubois versus Joe Frazier.
Joe Frazier.
Yeah?
Yes. These are supreme world champions. He's only had one
But what-
fight.
Like going back to what we were saying earlier about the training of now. Say like footballers weren't like Cristiano Ronaldo, like in terms of the training and the technicality, right? I don't think Cristiano Ronaldo could be what Cristiano Ronaldo is without the training.
Right.
Say like Messi, that's natural to me.
Yeah.
Like Maradona, that's natural. But let's just say, I don't know, Dubois, to me, like in that AJ fight, he looked 10 times bigger than AJ, but actually he was lighter.
Yeah.
But there must be, in terms of muscular structure and that, the training side of things. So I'm babbling on a little bit here, but in terms of what the training is now to what the training was then, do you think it matters?
In the 70s is the golden era of all heavyweights. Because everyone, if you get a list of the 10 best heavyweights, contenders, you probably won't remember most of these. You've got Joe Frazier, you've got obviously Muhammad Ali, you've got George Foreman, you've got Ron Lyle, you've got Sonny Liston right at the back end of it, You've got all these, the Ernie Shavers, the hardest hitting boxer of all time. You had so many, and every one of those 10 contenders would have beaten the heavyweight champions now. They all say that all the number one boxing pundits, the best era of heavyweight boxing was the 70s. The best era of middleweight and welterweight boxing was the 80s, because you've got Marvin Hagler, Sugar Ray Leonard, Roberto Duran, and Hitman Hearns.
Okay.
That's the best of the 80s of the middleweights.
So why would they beat this era now with a better technology? I don't get that.
I know I said technology is
better now,
but with those supreme athletes,
yeah,
you wouldn't, like the athletes of Jack Dempsey's time and all that. They were hungry. They were just didn't have they had just had a bag and they sort of hit it like that. But the 70s, they were so good that they are still relative to the boxing of today.
Okay.
They didn't run out of stamina because they had 15 rounds.
Yeah.
And if you look at Joe Frazier and Muhammad Ali's 3 fights, one of them was 15 round, the other 2 were 12. They just fought their hearts out for the whole 12, 15 rounds.
Yeah.
Which I used to get knackered after the second round. Put the old white flag.
How did you keep going through rounds like that then? Like, if you were that tired?
Pure stamina. They used to do the road work.
With adrenaline and all that as well?
Yeah, adrenaline, but stamina. The stamina they had in them days.
Do they road run now still?
Oh, they still road run now, but they used to road run in great big heavy boots.
Yeah.
And big clothes and weight round their necks. And Ali used to do the old chopping of the trees, didn't he, up in the mountains. But can't get away from the 70s. I know I'm old, but the 70s.
Training philosophies are the one. Yeah.
So what's next for Nicky Gibbons?
Well, I might do these podcasts more often.
Yeah. See, it's not as bad as you thought, was it?
Well, no, especially with all the drink I'm being supplied with.
You've done about 4 shots in the space of we've been sitting here. You never even got caught up in the round of it. Yeah, not once.
See?
You just enjoy it.
Yes.
Right. Well, listen, that is the end of the night.
And I never even done some rugby songs. That's for next time, folks.
Yeah. So we'll definitely get you back on, Dad.
Definitely.
Thanks for filling in the gap. I know you didn't want to do it, but you enjoyed it, yeah?
I enjoyed the drinks, yeah.
Well, that's Nicky Gibbons, and that's the Champ and Contender Podcast out.
We are out.
See you later, guys.
Bye-bye.
See ya.
How much do I get paid?